Good interwebs, how y'all doing?
Telling the doctor to stop diagnosing your kid since it's your kid, and how dare you tell them what's best for their kid. Bad parents are evolving into narcissistic and selfish jerks more and more by the day. You guys
Yeah, we got kids raising kids nowadays. Think about the TikTok brain rot, short-term memory, short form content, slop, like a glutton of short form content that's raising a child today. And they just toss them an iPad and then they just gotta fend for their own basically. Couple Lunchables, a backpack, some Skechers. Shit, and now they probably do got Jordans too. Who knows?
voted for this topic, and subscribe and leave comments to be part of the future videos. Anyways, I will preface that this video is not hating on the idea of parenthood or wanting kids. Please have kids if you are ready for them and will properly love them. Trust me, our replacement demographics are going to need it. Having said that, we're going to be diving into quite a messy topic, so let's start with the simpler things first. Chapter 1, Permissive Parenting. Gentle parenting doesn't mean what the internet has assigned it to mean. Having said that, for the sake of this video, we're going to be looking at a lot.
Everybody says they want kids till that little one just get to throwing up on you, just get the crying. When I was a baby, they said I was so much of a hassle to deal with that they sent me to Africa to give my mother some rest. They said I used to cry all night, like all types of stuff, bro. So I could only imagine like the stuff that's gonna be going on nowadays.
Clips that still subtitle or caption it as gentle parenting. But just know there's a difference. Basically, gentle parenting still allows discipline, they just don't believe in physical discipline.
Can I tell y'all a story? I am literally afraid of my child. I honestly cannot get him to stop hurting me. Obviously, the gentle no is not working. We're that couple who at restaurants, people stare at and shake their heads. We don't know what we did wrong.
Shut your big mouth, I hate you.
I'm concerned our gentle parenting has backfired and perhaps our baby boomer parents were correct. We already know abusive, narcissistic parenting ain't the right way to raise a child, but from what we see here, it seems like the literal exact opposite of that isn't the answer either. But why?
Permissive parenting means letting your kids walk all over you.
Look, when I was a kid, I did not get beat. I mean, my dad did knock me on the head a couple of times. Yeah, he did hit me a couple of times. But my mother wouldn't beat me. What she used to do though, she used to get my ear, right? And she would twist it so like bad. She would twist it to the point like I'd be like lifted up off my feet. It hurt so bad, bro. When I landed back on the ground, I used to like tap on my head just to make sure my ear there. Yeah, that it was fake worse than the beating.
Exactly what it sounds like. Basically, they have a little gremlin that they always say yes to. The gremlin can throw all these tantrums and they'll never correct them, and in fact give in to them, further teaching that kid to continue being a little gremlin. So now that I've explained that, that sounds a lot like what most people accidentally call gentle parenting. That's what permissive parenting is.
There is a reason why gentle parenting gets such a bad rep, and it's because that majority of people are under the impression that gentle parenting means that we just let our children run amok and do whatever they want, and we just sit back and say, yeah, your feelings are valid and you're safe and it's okay. Gentle parenting just means that we're not hitting them.
Kids do not think like adults, hence why trying to assume they already grasp adult concepts like responsibility, restraint, or empathy is stupid. You have to teach those concepts. That's the job of being a parent, to teach them and ease them into the world. I have colleagues who used to be elementary school teachers, and they have to go through this program that reteaches their adult brain to remember what it's like to think like a kid in order to better communicate with kids, and it's really difficult. Like, having said that, my heart absolutely goes out to all the teachers who have to deal with awful parents who basically treat schools like daycares. Y'all are already so overworked and underpaid, and now you gotta deal with the worst generation of illiterate goblin incarnations whose parents did nothing to teach them how to behave in society.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Did you say that my daughter is rude?
To be fair though, just to give Gen Z some like slack, even millennials per se, the generations before us, they at least was able to buy a house, have a white picket fence. You know what I'm saying? Work one job. Nowadays, you got parents working Uber, doing DoorDash, and working a full-time job, and they might do something on the side, and they still stressed out. So they don't really got time to parent. Yeah. And then we do have a lot of people that are succumbed to the phone disease of let's just say they're doom scroll zombies. We're gonna call people doom scroll zombies. This breed of people, okay? And I'm coining that, okay? Doom scroll zombie.
Yeah, I did. She gave me the finger.
Well, I wouldn't have done
Damn.
that if he wasn't being slow ass.
Dog, that's crazy, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Like to have your kid get that big is crazy. Like she got like 3 chins already, bro. I understand the 4 silver teeths, but the 3 chins in 4th grade is diabolical. Dog. Damn. That's bad parenting.
Are you serious? Whether she gave you the finger or not, then maybe you should have gotten out of her way.
Yeah, I know. I'm old. I'm kind of slow.
So instead of telling Amelia, no, you don't treat people that way, she goes after the older man who's in a motor
Bro, they got bigger problems. No pun intended.
cart.
Thankfully, it's not all parents, so for a brief palate cleanser, let's look at some good parenting because Lord knows we're gonna need it as this video progresses.
With your PlayStation 5, how you picked my cat up and slammed it on the ground.
What?
Multiple times.
Oh yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. Good mama.
Now pick it up and do it again. Wait a minute.
Bro, that's the thing about being black, bro. Your mom will come up with some of the most vindictive shit ever, bro. Like, they kind of turn into like generals, cause like the things they have you do, man.
Let me move this for you, baby, so you know it's real. I want you to raise it up on your tiptoes and slam that bitch as hard as you can like you did my mother and the cat.
Oh.
Pick it up and do that again.
W parenting, W mom. I don't give a crap what the comments are saying. This kid threw a living animal like a piece of trash.
Yeah, that is a great mothering right there. I gotta give it to her. Because I've done seen some kids do some messed up stuff. Like just be straight up menaces to society, right? I've seen this with my own 2 eyes, mind you. And their mom will come outside with a baseball bat in their honor to defend them. Like they ain't do nothing wrong. And that same kid ended up going to jail, so hey, it's funny.
It's because he was a little angry and he couldn't control his emotions. By the way, the mom bought the PS5. She's allowed to dictate what happens to it. It's an object at the end of the day. He should never physically discipline them by actually hitting them or abusing them, but making them break something they love and value will get the point across. Make grounding and this type of discipline normalized again. Discipline doesn't mean literally hitting your kid like most parents keep freaking out over. You can do adjacent behaviors that absolutely still get the message across. This kid values his PS5, but he failed to acknowledge the value of a living cat. So the best way to make him draw a parallel is to take something he values and have him destroy it to make him realize, oh, okay, I must have done something really bad then. I get it. And it's better he learns this now. Like, this is something he will remember, and some people were commenting that this is a core memory that will probably help him develop into a better human later on in life, because we see what happens if people don't learn to value the life.
Bro, he's obviously going to become a better person. Bro, not having a game system as a kid is one of it's a stage in life that you're never gonna forget. I remember when my Xbox caught the red ring of death and I couldn't get another Xbox. I remember that time period very well. I was outside a lot, so I wasn't like depressed or anything, but like you feel like you're missing something when you're a kid, and it's like you come home, it's ready, you can't turn on that Xbox, man.
living animals or even other living people if they're never taught that value. Chapter 2: The results and societal consequences of permissive parenting.
Dog, that's fake. That's fake.
If you don't gradually introduce them how dangerous the real world is, they're gonna think they're invincible. A parent who fails to discipline their kid in any way, verbally with words, spatially by just grounding them, or objectively by just showing them demonstrations like the one above. It doesn't have to be physical discipline. There are so many other kinds. But if you never ever get in the way of anything they want in life, you will raise a kid who thinks they're an invincible main character. And that's why we have all these copy-paste broccoli-haired Jack Dohertys running around, because
See, back in the day, a kid playing in the street, and then the car rolling up, and you almost get hit. They would stop the car, and they'll tell you, "Get your ass out the street." So then you know, being in the street where cars is moving is not that good. It's not a good thing to do. I don't know though.
they had permissive parents who never, ever disciplined their kid. Or even worse, whenever their kid wanted something from another kid, they would argue against the other parent to make their kid concede that item.
And you're sitting next to me and my family, and your kids are playing with other toys. My kids are instructed to go over there and grab toys so they could play as well. They do not need to ask for permission.
And that is so disgusting because it makes their little gremlin really narcissistic. Like, I can throw a tantrum and make the world bend around me. Everything's meant to be played with by me. It's a giant sandbox. This isn't like even hyperbole. They grow up to...
Kids like that end up in jail, bro. Or they end up getting whooped by one of their peers, right? And then they straighten out. There's like no in between, to be totally honest with you, sadly. All right. They run into a peer of theirs that's not having it, and they straighten them out, or the world straightens them out, to be totally honest with you. It's a sad thing to say, but it's kind of true. I've just seen it happen too many times. I mean,
like this. We have multiple examples of people like this loser prankster or mini loser pranksters, but we'll take a look at this one first. We'll take it bit by bit throughout this video.
Hey, dip, quit thinking about my twinkle.
No.
Hey, dip, quit thinking about my twinkle.
Get out of my business, one house, stop.
Hey, dip, quit thinking about my twinkle.
Stop!
This is food delivery.
So this prankster, you know, he ended up getting the face of this guy, and this guy acted in self-defense because he's outnumbered, he's scared, he has a camera in his face, and this is something parents need to realize. If you neglect to discipline your child, society will do it tenfold. And society doesn't have the guide rails that parenthood has, meaning that it was your job to make sure that these kids understood the proper danger of things they can't control. These are things that must be taught to them. Pranksters are some of the biggest cases of failed parenting, since the only way someone can do this is through complete permissive behavior. There's no way they had parents who had a spine. Like, each day they get bolder and bolder, whether it's fake injections on people in public that lead to jail time, deserved by the way.
Prank has got a French influencer in jail. Amin Mojito's video shows him pretending to stab random people with syringes. It went viral just days before an outbreak of needle attacks at a French music.
Man, I don't even like needles, man. I got like very vivid memories of dodging the needle at the doctor's. To stick a random person is an offense of some sort. You gotta put hands on them. That's crazy. What?
And even though the syringes were empty, a lawyer said it caused real fear for the people in the video.
Harassing people in public is L behavior, and I hate that there's a whole genre of this on TikTok. For instance, all these losers who somehow have the time to gather in like groups of 20 to raid local businesses and mess with hardworking employees.
Go ahead and bring in the guys. Call the police. What is going on? No,
you guys need to leave.
You guys are not going to come down here. Workers. These are my workers. No, these are my workers. These are my workers.
Oh, this is the TikTok guy, actually. This is his TikTok.
The TikTok account at Terra Clout is owned by 24.
See, they end up going to jail, or they get whooped on, man. There's like no in between. It's happened too many times. A tale as old as time. Y'all remember Boink Gang?
Heston James Cobb On both TikTok and Instagram, Heston gained a following by pranking employees at recognizable stores, including Target, Michaels.
Damn.
People who are already stressed enough in this economy who now have to deal with all this prankster BS while also even double taking at the chicken they're buying at the grocery store, wondering if it's been poisoned by some clout goblin.
Smith is now facing multiple charges, including a felony for messing with produce at a Walmart in Mesa Thursday. Court docs say Smith stole from the same store, then sprayed it all over fruits, vegetables, and rotisserie chickens.
Bruh, it's like you gotta be a different level of like a moron, man. You deserve to go to jail. 1, I'm happy they took your ass to jail, okay? But 2, the stupidity that rives in your blood, man, to go and do that is crazy to me. It's crazy. You evil. That is evil.
Part of a prank.
I could honestly make a whole video about the TikTok crime epidemic, so I'm just gonna save that for a future topic later. That's not a finalized name for it, but we'll get to it when we get to it. But if you want to watch that video and other videos, then subscribe for more epidemic slop and like this video if you are enjoying it so far, and also share it to any fatherless Discord users who might even need to see this video, just to let them know that I actually don't hate them.
Or talk, and it seems like also has a hard time just sitting up on his own without assistance supporting him.
And Krishan Rock get like the worst mother of the decade. She's up there for if there's like the apostles for this generation of like worst moms, and she's definitely up there. She's like the 3rd apostle. You gotta be. We waiting on the 4th. They haven't shown yet.
It is heartbreaking. It is actually heartbreaking. And I don't know why what she's done isn't just full-blown child abuse. Like, I don't know how that's not just a crime. Like, it's all just right out there in the open. Like, it's not a secret. People extremely close to her have just point-blank said that she has smoked and drank throughout her pregnancy. They've said it a couple of times. It's just so unhinged. And now, where she's now denying that her child has a disability, and says that, you know, the doctors are wrong, the doctors don't know, which to me says that she's not even willing to get this child the assistance that he is likely going to need going forward.
He's developing at his own pace and hitting his milestones.
Hey, bro, that's vicious. That's vicious. Little homie can't even find his snacks. You talking about he developing at his own pace. And you the one who did it to him. But they don't have jail stuff for people like this. Man, like, women could get away with so much. It's crazy.
It's in his crazy. Own timing. Every child is different, and
they
I'm
get
confident
away with
in his
murder,
growth.
bro. Literally.
Every kid deserves a parent, but not every parent deserves a kid, and that has never been more apparent than ever, because there are a lot of parents who just completely treat their kids like property. I despise parents who don't let others criticize their parenting habits because it's my kid, so I tell them what to do, not you. Because that treats your kid like a non-living object instead of the autonomous human being they are.
He's gonna have a kid. We're gonna raise it in Vietnam for the first 4 years.
What? Bro, go
he
back,
won't
bro.
be there? Neither of us will.
Bro, show her.
Visit?
What? What? You won't be in the kid's life for the first 4 years?
They're not gonna remember.
You see what's going on right here, bro? Forget the makeup. The makeup is so heinous. She looked like a transformer already. I'm gonna be honest, but the nose thingy. It's a soda clip. How much do you gotta be of a chubby person to get a soda clip stitched into your nose? I've never seen it before.
They're not gonna remember. But listen, Caleb, you know his family's gonna raise it, you know, in Vietnam. It. So we can send it to school.
Wow. Kid's gonna miss his grandparents, her grandparents. A little baby that doesn't have memories still cries for their mother.
Okay, but get over it.
And you realize how disgusting this phrase is from this horrendous mother. Oh, it's my kid. You can't tell me what to do with my kid. It's mine. you're the child's mother.
Like it don't have a dad. He probably about to say that. I haven't seen this. I watch all of these live. I'm even live streaming. All of this goes off the top of my head. But we live in such a narcissistic society where, and then you got these women. They're not all women. There's a good factor of women that just love their kids. They want to care for them. They want to be good moms. But we don't really see those stories because you know what they say. All good flights don't hit the news because they went how it's supposed to go or something like that, right? But we do have these small percentage of scragglers, man, that they just don't care and they look up to the Kardashians, and then they want to treat their kid like they're vicariously living our Kardashian life by like putting it onto their kid. I don't know how to explain it. We got a lot of parents that put just they have like they make Instagrams for their kids before they even get here, before they know how to talk when they're babies. The Instagram profile. That's just a good example of the world we're living in. But yeah.
The child is still a child. Someday they will grow up to be an adult, and their life will be their own. There's a whole arc of this in My Hero Academia where literally the...
Bro, don't tell me he can't walk, bruh. That's crazy. He was just crawling?
Character Deku tells someone he's going up against in a tournament, it's not your father's power, it's yours. In some dire cases, strangers absolutely can tell a parent what to do with their children, especially if what the parent is doing is neglecting the child. Even more so if it's not a random stranger, but a licensed doctor looking for the developmental health of the child.
My mom was the type of mom who might ignore all your medical issues until it was too late, and it was disgusting. Like, that happened to me a lot growing up. So
They said that if Jezreel doesn't start chemotherapy, that he has a chance that he will definitely pass away. And I said it very loud and clear, I'm not starting chemotherapy.
I don't understand people who take their children to the doctor and then don't want to listen to that doctor. This woman's son is fighting leukemia, and she is in a war with CPS because she refuses to allow her son to get the chemo treatment needed. Keep in mind, this...
Bro, you gotta be a different level of heinous to deny your son medical help because of your beliefs or something like that. That's evil.
Treatment, this regimen of chemo, has been around for decades and is so incredibly successful that it has lowered the death rate of leukemia by so much. And if a doctor is telling you your son is going to die if you don't do this and you don't listen, I understand wanting to go a more natural or less toxic route, but the moment your child's life is in question is the moment you need to listen to the doctors.
And then they have no jail. There's no law for this, bro. Like, she's not gonna get a case, bro. It's evil, bro. And now when I say the government, man, the system is not right, man. It is not right. It is totally not right, bro. Cause it's like Casey Anthony. She got away with that. That's crazy.
Link's got a trauma dump here because this whole story reminds me of my own trauma that I already talked about in a 2024 cancer video, which I don't recommend watching that video. Actually, this is gonna be one of the few times you're gonna hear a YouTuber ever tell you not to watch a video. I don't hate my parents. I've learned to forgive them, but I will never truly love them because my parents were science deniers as well. So I'll briefly state here, I grew up with precancerous Barrett's esophagus as a child. This is something that progresses very slowly and can be kept under control. There's no cure for precancer, unfortunately, for this type, but you can keep a kid well into, like, they can still live a full life if you just give them treatment, right? You act early on and don't let it progress to cancer. It's only 1% chance of progressing to cancer. You have to be extremely stupid to allow it to progress to the next stage. My parents were extremely stupid. Sure, they acted out of what they perceived was their best intention, but it came out of arrogance and narcissism against American doctors. They opted to use Asian pseudoscience and even brainwashed and repeated to me, you don't have a problem. We don't have any genetic defects in our lineage. We're clean bloodline. They
Hey, bruh. That is diabolical. But Nah, yeah, I was gonna say I would give the foreigners like a pass because they kind of don't know no better, and they're on the outer level on the foreign nation. Like the foreigners' outer level is on a different level. It's just crazy with them, but especially them Japanese Asian folk, they don't play about that honor. But yeah, even this right here, the ego is a powerful thing. I've really come to the terms of that. These are ego problems. People having faulty egos and not wanting to just roll over. Not roll over, but not wanting to just. Sometimes you have to succumb to the will of this universe, bro. It happens to every human. That's why they call us mortals. And in that process, you have to gain and garner from those around you and the things around you. Pretty much. It happens to everybody. And if you don't do that, you kind of lead yourself into peril. That was pretty dark.
Said that word for word, not in English, in their native languages, but you get the point. Like, looking back, that's really cultish-like talking. That's why my heart weeps for children in this circumstance, because they're held prisoner to a jail of their parents' making, their parents' own science denial, their parents' own arrogance, narcissism. There's nothing I'll ever do to get mad at these children for the same reason I wouldn't be mad at myself. What was 7-year-old me supposed to do? Run away from home? And I had to just tough it out until I became an adult. And there's absolutely a world where some kids probably don't make it to adulthood. If I could have literally just been murked, and my parents probably would have just chalked it up to something that still wasn't even their own fault, which is why I said I'll never love them. The stakes where they put their child's life on the line. Why have I avoided saying that until up until
You gotta give them a pass, bro. I'm neurodivergent. Like when I was a kid, I went through some little stuff and whatnot. They was worried about me, but the doctor told my mom I was neurodivergent and shit, and she told them like she's not gonna give them none of the she's not gonna give me none of the medications. She said, like, God go take care of it. Something like that. I mean, it worked out for me, but that's not saying it's gonna work out for everybody else, okay?
That's why I hate this disgusting mother. It's not just their future. You are putting their life on the line in the present for every day, every week that passes by when you don't get them treated for actual issues they have. Off. And yes, I know medical debt is expensive, but you're a parent. It's your responsibility, and you were supposed to be prepared for it when you brought a life into this world. Because guess who will shoulder the medical debt, assuming they make it to adulthood? The kid will. The kid will grow up to be an adult. It's always easier to stop at the beginning. Sorry if I'm raising my voice, but I always hear that dog shit ass excuse from some people. I know this country isn't perfect. I know there's systems that suck, but it will only suck more the longer you wait. That's how everyone talks about. So just tank the hit as the parent, because that was something you should have mentally prepared yourself for, being the parent. With all this science denial, next thing you know, some parents will disbelieve humans even need to breathe oxygen. So how dare you get their kids out of the water because they were not drowning, you bigot. It's my kid. I tell them what to do. Oh wait, some parents actually do this? God damn it.
A lifeguard was thrown in jail after saving a drowning 5-year-old boy, all because the child's parents called the police. 23-year-old Zachary Stein worked as a lifeguard at a water park. Without hesitation, he jumped into the pool, pulled Adam out, and performed emergency CPR, successfully reviving him. But just as people began praising Stein as a hero, Adam's parents arrived. Instead of thanking him, they called the police. Officers soon showed up and arrested Stein on charges of endangering a child.
What?
I'm gonna dial myself back. Sorry for sounding so heated earlier, but like,
bro, that's like the level of stupidity. One, and then two, the level of stupidity on the officers. Cause how you arrest a lifeguard for saving someone's life, for doing his job with witnesses there? They literally get like CPR training and stuff. That is crazy. That's crazy.
This is why I've been avoiding making this video topic, by the way. It's something I can't not get heated. This is my third try and record this video. Anyways, imagine your kid starts drowning and this mother gets the audacity at the people saving them because it's her child.
take him to the beach.
I understand, but when you're questioning why somebody else is holding your daughter, that means that you should have been there to
But
be holding
literally,
your
we
daughter.
were all paying attention to, like, I was literally just leaving
Well, how
right
can
now.
everybody be paying attention if an honest citizen that
What
don't
is
even know
going
you
on right now?
just-
Like, I don't understand what's going on. We were literally leaving right now.
In the beach.
With a 5-year-old brother, right?
What is going on?
Okay, you left your daughter on the beach
That's what's
with
happening.
a sibling that's 5 years
I
old
was
alone.
literally watching them.
And she was drowning. Someone had to take her out of the water because she almost drowned and died. Do you understand that?
Maybe you should stop day drinking and supervise your freaking children. All these police body cam footage these days show off some of the most neglectful parents out there, and it has my heart aching for the future of our youth. I hate that she yells, "It's my kids, it's my kids, they're my kids." In this case, the lifeguards and police are doing their job in rescuing their kids from drowning in the water. I get that you can't have eyes 24/7 on your kid, and I get that accidents happen, so don't feel ashamed if a lifeguard has to save your own kid someday. Just don't yell at the lifeguard after.
Bro, if a kid gets caught like saved from drowning, and like the coast guards and stuff, like they're looking for the parents are nowhere to be found, and it's just some mom in like a 2-piece, probably dancing, twerking to some music, talking about some. Oh my gosh, I can just hear her now. Yeah, there was issue to arrest her.
Done their job. And even worse, don't be day drinking at a bar several thousand feet away from the scene of the incident.
And so when her friend was stumbling drunk, these are her friend's shoes. She took her to the bathroom because she's throwing up, you know? So I don't want you to think that she wasn't just not being a mom.
Yeah.
The bartender comes out and tries defending her, saying she's not being a bad parent. I was watching her this whole time. She was actually busy helping her friend vomit in the restroom from all the day drinking. And bro, hard disagree. Can we stop permissive parenting, the permissive parents? The stakes could not be any higher. Her daughter almost drowned. I do not care about hurting her feelings. Maybe one drink, sure, especially if you know what you can handle, and at her age, she absolutely should know what she can handle. But if you're literally drinking till blackout drunk where you're vomiting, that's not responsible. They've already lost my sympathy as being the good parent here. The comments absolutely roasted her by saying, repeating you're not a bad mom doesn't make you not a bad mom. And I'm glad everyone is siding with the stranger lady who actually saved a drowning daughter. You know, because drowning isn't something you can hesitate with, right? Kids' lungs only last seconds, maybe a minute, depending on their own individual training, especially when they're only 3 to 5 years old. The stranger isn't playing superhero. That lady was a hero. Meanwhile, the mom is obviously drunk, possibly even high, and she's looking after 3 to 5-year-olds. She claims it was her birthday, and the bartender and her friends are defending that parents deserve to have fun too, right? They're on the beach and they should enjoy themselves. It's her birthday or whatever. You're allowed to have fun. Just have fun with your kids. Why are parents doing everything possible these days to avoid raising their kids?
You gotta be a different level of bad parent. Like, you've reached the arcane level, bro, of being a bad parent. If you could let something like this happen, bro, I will not gonna lie. This is like real sad. If you could to go get drunk, and then, do you know how unresponsible of a parent you have to be to let your kid disappear at the beach? At the beach, you know how many people go to the beach? How hot it is. She looked like they could get sunburned. Like, bro, that is crazy. Your kid could get sunburned. They could get snatched up. She never watched Us. What happened when the kid disappeared on the beach?
Near their kids, like they always need to take a break from their kids. You know, if you actually love your kids and make them love you, you don't feel the need to always be away from them. At the very least, just be sober on the beach, right? Especially when they're 3 to 5. I'm gonna keep repeating that. So don't be like these parents who are completely oblivious to the dangers of the surrounding world and for some reason even try to control it, whether it's denying diseases, denying that their kid is drowning, or denying that they're in an active crossfire area with a SWAT team. Now on the flip side, don't interpret this as me saying helicopter parent your kids forever and never let them go outside because the world is super, uber, duper, mega, ultra dangerous and they should never ever see anything. No. There's a middle ground. Supervise your children and make sure they can safely experience the world on those guide rails I've been mentioning this whole video. If you don't know what helicopter parenting is, it means constantly surveilling your kid and controlling major aspects of their life, like what they do after school, who they can hang out with, and not even buying them any form of autonomy, whether that's a skateboard, a bicycle, a scooter, and especially a car or motorcycle, regardless of age. There are some parents that don't want to give up control of their kid's life forever, even as their kid moves into early adulthood. Helicopter parenting has gotten so bad that there are moms who let their 11-year-old boy walk a few blocks outside on his own. This is not the bad mother in this instance. It's the Karen who called police on this mom and this kid.
They have now released body cam footage of the moment that a mother was arrested for letting her 10-year-old son walk less than a mile into town.
Turn around for me.
Why?
Because you're under arrest.
For what?
For the incident we talked about earlier today.
On October 30th, Brittany Patterson took one of her sons to a doctor's appointment while her 10-year-old son Soren decided to walk into town from their home in Georgia.
What am I under arrest
He was
For
hungry.
reckless endangerment.
And how was I recklessly endangering my child?
But while she was out, she got a call from police saying that her son was walking outside alone, but she says she wasn't concerned because she grew up walking outside and exploring on her own, and she was raising her children the same way. Patterson was arrested and booked on reckless conduct, where they say she willingly and knowingly endangered the welfare of her son, and she could face up to a year in prison.
Last time I checked, it wasn't illegal for a kid to walk to the store.
It is when they're 10 years old.
It is?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to see that on the books.
Okay. Well, you'll see it on your warrant.
And
Okay, I don't know if I missed something, but letting your son walk to the store and getting arrested, I think she don't belong on this video, bruh. That's all that happened. I'm not gonna lie. I used to walk to the store a lot at like 9, bro. Like 3 miles, bruh. I was pretty active as a kid, bro. I remember I rode the bike to the mall like 7-8 miles, bro. With a couple of my friends, rode the bike to the mall. No cash in my pocket, ain't buy nothing. Just wanted to go do something.
Show up to arrest her. By the way, 11-year-old boy. He's not like 5 or 6 years old. These Karens are the same MFs who probably complain about their own kids always being on their phones and never playing outside. Yet whenever they see other kids play outside, they call the police for a noise complaint or call other mothers irresponsible for letting their kid go way too far from their supervision. Complete hypocrites. To further prove my point, right? Cross country and track clubs are a thing. A lot of kids don't do it on the field at school all the time. Sometimes there's something going on where the field's under maintenance. So kids will actually run miles away from their home. Like, I know people used to do 2-mile loops. Even
Bro, I ran track for like a week. That stuff sucks. Like, because I used to play like football. Like, I was alright, I was cool. But like, think about football. Like, you could get good. All right, you don't have to be the most athletic, the fastest, nor the strongest. You could use this to get better in football. You could use footwork to get better in football. You could use the weight room to get better in football, right? But track, my first week there, I noticed and realized that I could work here and do this for years. I'm not going to end up being the best or anything like that. Because speed is something that's a God-given gift. It's the universe give you speed. It comes from your ancestors and your genetics. Everybody has a cap on speed, bro. Every human has a cap on speed. Speed isn't something you could just trade up, bro. It's like let me say what your genetics give your body, okay? What your genetic form into your body, what they output into the world, shall I say? Your calves have a max, okay? Your explosion has a max, at least in the speed department. And those departments of the body, they literally have a max, bro. I learned that in that first week I was gone. I'm not gonna lie, I was not about to keep doing it. I left. All that running, it's no goal. You don't gotta hit nothing. You don't score.
mile
runs.
loops. So 1.5 miles away from their home and then 1.5 miles back. They're like in 7th or 8th grade. That's not a horrendous thing to be doing. That's more than old enough to see the world outside of their house in their immediate vicinity.
I love the
get
watch track,
supervising
though.
your kids on the beach when they're still toddlers, like in the previous chapter. But by the time they're preteens, you should still supervise them, but you don't have to helicopter parent or even helicopter parent other parents' kids, because they might be part of some after-school club where they have to partake in these activities. It's good for their health too, and it's just good for their mental health too, not just physical health. They need to see the world around them, all right? These parents get zero right to get mad at their kids when they become adults, and they're like, hey, how come you haven't gotten a girlfriend yet? Hey, how come you still play video games all the time? Hey, how come you don't go outside? What do you mean? You never provided them with the means of gradually learning and experiencing things. Something equally annoying and unfortunately just as damaging to children's development is tiger parenting, also known as emotional damage. Chapter 4, compare.
What the hell? You say hard? Remember your cousin
I heard
in
that's
China?
an Asian thing for
He
real.
got 15 years work experience. He's
I
not.
heard they got this saying with Asian moms. They call them like tiger moms. Like the real strict parents. You gonna be a doctor or you gonna leave this house at 5 years old type stuff going on.
How's that even possible?
Now moving on from physical neglect, another really long-lasting type of parental negligence is emotional neglect. This does follow children deep into adulthood, and sometimes they never get over it. Being Asian, you already know most of this chapter is going to be dedicated to the toxic culture our parents raised us in. Memes aside, Asian parents are way too obsessed with grades, and they deduce their child's entire worth with GPA. I know this can happen with parents of any background, but it's definitely worth talking about in Asia because it's the worst there. We have stats to back it up. Let's not turn this into a competition.
But that's why they be so smart. Because over there, it's the culture to be that vigorous in education. Okay, over here, they value more other stuff. Like, you got parents that value sports more than education, low-key. They treat education more like a disciplining factor of life. Shall I say, a concentration factor of life.
Trust me, you don't want to be number one at this.
Do you remember what your high school schedule was like? Let's compare it to the average Korean student. They wake up at 6:30 a.m., get to school by 7:30. They go to school till about 4 p.m. Then they rush home for a quick bite and then have private lessons from 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. at what they call a hagwon, which is like a tutoring, like a after-school program. Then they go back to school, do a study session until about 11 p.m. And then when you go home, you have to study till around 2 a.m. and then wake up at 6:30 a.m. to do it all over again. It is very common in South Korea for students to spend on average 16 hours a day studying. 16. That leaves 8 hours to shower, eat, rest, sleep, socialize, and even just transportation to get from one place to another. That takes a lot of time. Korean parents spent nearly $18 billion on tutoring and specialized entrance exam classes in 1 year. $18 billion.
In 1979, 6% of Korean students attended hagwons. By 2008, it was 75%. So in 2009, Seoul tried a 10 p.m. curfew. Hagwons adapted. Some recategorized as self-study libraries. Some put kids on chartered buses and taught lessons while driving on the motorway.
You do not want to be number one at this. If you hate 7 hours of school, imagine having 13 hours of school. Like having an after school.
Bro, then they doing all that just to work at some cubicle at Samsung or Kia or something, bro. Like, but I heard there's like 5 or 3 companies out Korea that's really affluent. That's like how we got Microsoft and Blackstone out here, but you can still go get a job at Amazon. Well, Amazon's not a good example. Well, UPS, you know what I'm saying? And you can still live all right. Or FedEx. Or some bakery or some shit, right? But over there, bro, it's so competitive. Like, they done messed up the currency in Korea so bad, bro, that the only way one of the only ways, I won't say the only way because I don't know anything that much about Korea. I'm just talking off like the little articles and stuff that I've seen off the internet. But one of the only ways you can really make money and live a calm life, not even calm because it still be stressful and very competitive, is to work for the big companies like Samsung, LG, and the Hyundai, Kia, and stuff like that. because they took monopoly to another level. Those are the only companies out there with affluent power.
School after school, and the reason it's 3 phases of schooling is because you have the regular school and then an after school for the regular school. But because the after schools after the regular school are becoming so prestigious, they now have wait lists where there are after schools for those after schools.
Today in South Korea, where 69% of young adults hold degrees, cram schools are so competitive that subsidiary cram schools now exist solely to coach students into more prestigious cram schools. Cram schools for cram schools.
These parents have never heard of the concept of diminishing returns. You can't just keep throwing more at something expecting quantifiably more gains. Like, there comes a point where throwing more at something actually gets less gains. There's such thing as kids getting tired, getting overworked, getting overstudied. The human brain hasn't changed that much in 10,000 years. There are literal studies showing when people stop focusing and paying attention to things. ADHD aside, a perfectly healthy human brain isn't designed to focus for 12 to 13 hours a day. That's stupid, especially when they're a kid and they want to explore the world around them and play. Sure, these countries perform at the top for academics, but guess what else they're at the top for? Yep, highest rate of murking themselves. Oh, also lowest replacement rate. They're not making future kids, so their society won't even exist. Is that worth being proud of for being #1 in academics? What's the point of having...
Yeah, it's not worth it. But they have a couple reasons as to why their population is diminishing like that. It's to the point the mammal has been so stressed out that it won't reproduce. Like it's kind of like what's happening here in America per se, but they just got the sped up version. They're way ahead of us on that lane, like how they're ahead of us in making ice cream. But this was a good video from Bladed Angel. I'm not subscribed. I'm about to subscribe. That's y'all lit. But yeah, y'all go check them out. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. All right, y'all. See ya.